Have you ever had a friend who would do absolutely anything for you? A friend who's more like a brother or sister. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful stories of friendship ever told. It's a tale of loyalty, sacrifice, and a bond that defied a king's rage. This is the story of David and Jonathan. Our story begins in ancient Israel, a kingdom ruled by the towering and formidable King Saul. Saul had a son, Jonathan, a brave and respected warrior, heir to the entire kingdom. Everything seemed set for him, but then a young shepherd boy named David entered the scene. You've probably heard of him. He's the one who defeated the giant Goliath with just a sling and a stone. When David stood before King Saul, covered in the dust of his victory, something incredible happened. Jonathan was there. He saw David's courage, his faith, and his humble heart. In that moment, the Bible says the soul of Jonathan was knit to the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. It wasn't just admiration, it was an instant, deep connection. A friendship was born that day, one that would change the course of history. To show his commitment, Jonathan did something astonishing for a prince. He took off his own royal robe, his sword, his bow, and his belt, and he gave them all to David. This wasn't just a gift of clothes and weapons, it was a powerful symbol. Jonathan, the heir to the throne, was essentially saying, "What is mine is yours. I see you as my equal, my brother." He was placing his loyalty to David above his own status. As David's fame grew, so did King Saul's jealousy. The people would sing, "Saul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s. This praise drove Saul mad with envy. He saw David not as a hero who saved his people, but as a threat to his crown. The king who once welcomed David into his court now looked at him with eyes full of suspicion and hatred. Saul's jealousy turned into a murderous obsession. One day, while David was playing the harp to soothe the king's troubled spirit, Saul hurled a spear at him, trying to pin him to the wall. David narrowly escaped, not once, but twice. The palace, once a place of honor, had become a death trap. David was now a fugitive, running for his life from the very man he served. This is where Jonathan's loyalty was truly tested. Would he stand by his father, the king, or would he protect his friend, the outlaw? Jonathan knew his father's rage was unjust. He chose friendship. He went to David in secret, promising to find out his father's true intentions. They made a pact, a covenant, not just for themselves, but for their future families. Jonathan swore, "Whatever you want me to do, I'll do for you." They came up with a secret plan. David would hide in a field during a royal festival. Jonathan would test his father's mood. To communicate the outcome without being seen, they devised a signal using arrows. If Jonathan told his servant boy that the arrows were on one side, it meant David was safe to return. But if he shot the arrows beyond the boy, it meant David had to flee for his life. The day of the festival arrived. David's seat at the king's table was empty. At first, Saul said nothing, but on the second day, he exploded with anger. "Where is the son of Jesse?" he demanded. Jonathan defended David, but this only enraged Saul further. In a terrifying outburst, Saul screamed at his own son, accusing him of betraying his family and his birthright. "As long as the son of Jesse lives on this earth," he roared, "neither you nor your kingdom will be established. Now go and bring him to me, for he must die." When Jonathan argued that David had done nothing wrong, Saul's rage became uncontrollable. In a horrifying echo of his attacks on David, the king hurled his spear at his own son. Jonathan dodged it, his heart breaking. He now knew, without a doubt, that his father was determined to kill David. There was no turning back. The danger was real and immediate. With a heavy heart, Jonathan went to the field where David was hiding. He took his bow and shot the arrows, just as they had planned. He cried out to his servant boy, who was fetching the arrows, "The arrows are beyond you." It was the signal. The devastating message was sent. David had to run. After the boy left, David emerged from his hiding place. The two friends embraced, both of them weeping. Their goodbye was filled with sorrow. They knew they might never see each other again. Jonathan told David, "Go in peace, for we have sworn friendship with each other in the name of the Lord." It was a final, heart-wrenching farewell. David fled into the wilderness, and Jonathan returned to the palace, forever changed. Even though they were separated, their bond remained unbroken. Years passed. David lived as a fugitive, hunted by Saul, while Jonathan remained in the palace, caught between his father and his friend. In a final, secret meeting, Jonathan found David in the wilderness and encouraged him. Strengthening his hand in God, he reaffirmed his belief that David would one day be king, and that he, Jonathan, would be second in command. Tragically, that future was not to be. Jonathan and his father, King Saul, died together in a fierce battle against the Philistines. When David heard the news, he didn't rejoice that his enemy was gone. Instead, he mourned deeply. He tore his clothes and wept, not just for his friend, but even for the king who had tried to kill him. David wrote a beautiful and heartbreaking song of lament, known as the Song of the Bow. In it, he cried out, "I grieve for you, Jonathan, my brother. You were very dear to me. Your love for me was wonderful, more wonderful than that of women." These words capture the profound depth of their friendship, a love that was pure, selfless, and unconditional. But David's loyalty didn't end with Jonathan's death. He remembered the promise they had made. He sought out anyone left from Jonathan's family to show them kindness for his friend's sake. He found Jonathan's son, Mephibosheth, who was disabled and living in obscurity. David brought him to Jerusalem, restored all of King Saul's land to him, and gave him a permanent place of honor at the royal table. David kept his promise, ensuring that Jonathan's legacy of kindness lived on. The story of David and Jonathan is more than just an ancient tale. It's a timeless lesson in what true friendship looks like. It's about putting someone else's well-being before your own status, your own safety, even your own family. It's about loyalty that endures distance, danger, and even death. It's a friendship that chose love over power and loyalty over royalty. It challenges us to ask, do we have a Jonathan in our lives? And more importantly, are we a Jonathan to someone else? Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that inspire. Let us know in the comments what true friendship means to you. We'll see you in the next video.